2020. This workshop is brought to you by District 80's PQD team in collaboration with Division E. I am Muhammad Hatta Ibrahim, Area E4 Director, and I will be your Toastmaster for the evening. There will be three parts to today's training. We'll begin with Distinguished Toastmaster Eng Chia Kim, who will be touching on salient points to take note of when doing Chief Judge duties. The second part will be on contest judging by Distinguished Toastmaster Anand Arya Ratinam, who is the winner of Toastmaster of the Year for the term 2023-2024. And the final segment after the break would be on contest management by Division E Director Toastmaster Zuria Arifin. Some house rules before we begin. Do keep your audio muted when the trainers are speaking. If you have any burning questions, do note these questions down so that you can raise them during the Q&A session towards the end of today's e-workshop. I will now like to invite Distinguished Toastmaster Nur Hakim, our District Director, for his opening address. Didi Hakim, please.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening. Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, fellow Toastmasters. I'm doing this address on behalf of our Program Quality Director, Sharon, who's flying off to Japan. And she's right there at the airport waiting to board. We brought her team alongside Division E, has brought together this workshop to help guide our fellow Toastmasters on running efficient contests, as well as contests that fulfills the requirement of the rule book. As we all know, the contest is really one of the lifeblood of Toastmasters, and running an accurate, efficient, as well as a productive contest is in the interest of all of District 80 members. So I'm very happy to see some familiar faces and even happier to see some new faces who have joined this workshop. I hope because you are interested to volunteer yourself as judges, as appointment holders, or even to find out the nuts and bolts of running contests, because contest is everybody's business. And today, I'm sure with the wonderful lineup of speakers that we have, I'm sure we will learn a lot from our speakers today. So I'm looking forward as much as everyone else in this room. Let's not hold it back any longer. I'll hand you back to the Toastmaster of the day so we can proceed with what is necessary. Thank you very much. Toastmaster of the day, back to you.
Thank you very much, Distinguished Toastmaster Nur Hakim, our DD. Sharon is flying off to Chongqing, China. Hakim. Now, as mentioned, the first part of today's training will be on Chief Judge duties by Distinguished Toastmaster Eng Chia Kim. I'm sure Chia Kim is a very familiar face to all of us, but allow me to introduce him. Chia Kim, Distinguished Toastmaster Eng Chia Kim is the past District Director for the term 2020-2021. He had participated in many speech contests and took on various speech contest roles such as telecounter. Now, to tell us more about how to be a impartial Chief Judge, let me pass the time to Distinguished Toastmaster Eng Chia Kim.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, district officers, fellow Toastmasters and friends. Good evening. Speech contests are an important part of the Toastmasters educational program. They provide an opportunity for Toastmasters to gain speaking experience, as well as an opportunity for other Toastmasters to learn by observing proficient speakers. And the Chief Judge is an important role for the speech contest. The Chief Judge is usually appointed by the contest chair, but in some occasions it is appointed by the head of the unit. If it's area contest, it could be appointed by area director, or if a division contest, it could be appointed by division director, but usually it's appointed by the contest chair. So if you have an opportunity to be appointed as a Chief Judge, and after accepting the Chief Judge role, what is the first thing that you would do? Any ideas? I will have difficulty reading your chat. So let me just go to the point. After accepting Chief Judge role, the first thing that I think you should do is to read the latest speech contest rulebook. The Toastmasters International Headquarters make changes to the speech contest rulebook every year, and they will highlight the changes. So you need to read the latest contest rulebook to make sure that you're aware of all the changes to the rules. So the contest rulebook, this is the latest contest rulebook. You can see the date, July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. And you can download this contest rulebook at this link from the Toastmasters International Headquarters website. Or if you go to the website and just look for contest rulebook, you should be able to find it. For the contest rulebook covers pretty comprehensively of all the different rules, but there are usually some situations that are not covered in the contest rules. So in that kind of situation, we need to make a decision on what to do. And to do that, first we need to understand what is the intention of the contest rules. The intention of the contest rules is to have a fair contest for all the contestants. The contestants put in a lot of time and effort preparing for the contest. So we need to make sure that the contest is fair to all the contestants. Now, if there are any part that are not covered in the contest rules, just think whether the decision is going to be fair to all the contestants. That's why I put at the lower right corner of my slides, be fair, to remind you that we need to be fair to all the contestants. I'm taking my slides content word for word from the contest rulebook so that there will not be any misinterpretation or any typo error. So I take it word for word from the contest rulebook. Now, at the contest rulebook, towards the end of the rulebook, there's a chief judge.
Yeah. Sorry, Chakim, are you sharing the slides?
Oh, I'm not sharing the slides, right? Okay, sorry. Thank you for reminding me. Let me see, how do I share the slides? Share. Hold it down. Okay, can you see my slides?
Yes, Ken. Thank you.
Can.
Okay, thank you for reminding me. Sorry about that. So after accepting the chief judge role, you read the latest contest rulebook, and this is the latest contest rulebook. You can download it from the Toastmasters International website. The intention of the contest rules is to have a fair contest for all the contestants. So I'm taking it word for word from the contest rulebook, and then we go through these rules and make sure everybody understands them. So before the contest, once you accepted the role after reading the contest rulebook, you appoint and counsel voting judges and counters, timers, and a secret tie-breaking judge. Now, other appointment holders are appointed by the contest chair. So these are the appointment holders that are appointed by the chief judge. The voting judges, tally counters, timers, and a secret tie-breaking judge. Now, when we appoint these appointment holders, we must bear in mind that we need to avoid conflict of interest. What does that mean? If you know that a contest someone is related to a contestant, for example, a spouse or family member or a colleague, as much as possible, don't appoint the person as a judge or a timer, because there could be a conflict of interest. If you know that, someone has a crush on the contestant, don't appoint a person as a judge, because like it or not, there could be bias, okay, either intentionally or unintentionally. So avoid conflict of interest as much as possible. And these are the number of appointment holders that a chief judge appoints. The number varies from different levels of contest. For a club contest, there will be 5 voting judges, 1 tie-breaking judge, 2 tally counters, and 2 timers. Area contest, 5 voting judges, 1 tie-breaking judge, 2 tally counters, 2 timers. Division contest, 7 voting judges, 1 tie-breaking judge, 2 tally counters, 2 timers, and district level contest, 7 voting judges, 1 tie-breaking judge, 3 tally counters, and 2 timers. Now, this is especially for the judges, this is the minimum number of judges that you need to appoint. Now, I suggest that you appoint more than these minimum numbers, because on that day of the contest, there could be some judges who couldn't make it, or some judges who comes late, or some judges, their votes are disqualified. So to make sure that the contest goes smoothly, please make sure that you have more judges than the minimum, so that in case any of those cases happen, you still have enough judges. Now, judges' eligibility. Now, to be a chief judge, voting judge, or tie-breaking judge at a Toastmasters speech contest, you must meet all the eligibility requirements identified below. At a club contest, be a paid member. Now, that's pretty straightforward, just as a paid member. In other words, if a member joins Toastmasters the day before, today he or she can be a judge at a club level contest. At the area, division, or district contest, be a paid member for a minimum of 6 months, have completed a minimum 6 speech projects in the Competent Communication Manual, or earn certificates of completion in level 1 and 2 of any path in the Toastmasters Pathway Learning Experience. Now, you need to note that only members who join Toastmasters prior to the rollout of pathways in their region can apply speeches from the Competent Communication Manual towards eligibility for judging. In other words, after the pathways roll out, if a new member joins Toastmasters, but he or she chooses to do projects from the old manual, and he or she completed minimum of 6 speeches, but did not complete level 2 of pathways, this person is not eligible to be a contest judge for the area, division, or district level. I hope that's clear. So these are the minimum criteria. Very simple. But when you appoint judges, you also need to consider whether these judges you appoint are competent. You don't want to, although you can appoint a contest judge who just joined yesterday, but you need to make sure that this person understands about public speaking, knows how to judge. So although this is the minimum criteria, but as a chief judge, you want to make sure that the judges you appoint really are people who can do the job properly. Next is act as a chief counter and provide each counter with a copy of the counter's tally sheet. Now, in the tally counting, you don't just leave the tally counters to do the counting by themselves, but you need to be there to supervise, and you need to provide them with a tally sheet. And if you're not familiar with the tally sheet, it is item 1176 that you can download from the Toastmasters International website. And this is how it looks like. On the top, you put the name of the contestants in the order of the speaking, order, and in the column, you put the name of the judges. So you give them the marks accordingly, according to what the judges have given them. And at the bottom, you rank the positions, the first place, second place, and third place winners according to the total score that they receive. You encourage all speech contest officials to view the online speech contest training. Now, this is again from the Toastmasters speech contest rulebook. Now, unfortunately, if you go to this link, it comes out as error 404. Okay, that page is not there. So I think Toastmasters International may need to update that one. Before the contest, you conduct a judges briefing for voting judges, counters, and timers. Now for the international speech contest, evaluation, humorous table topics, and tall tale contest, the judges briefing may be conducted in person or online. Usually, at least in Singapore, the judges briefing are conducted immediately before the contest begins, but sometimes it's a bit rushed. So if you want to do a very thorough briefing, then you may want to do it before the contest and do it online so that you have enough time to brief the appointment holders and also answer the questions. Now, online speech contest, the briefing must be conducted online. Since our district is not conducting online contests, I will just skip those parts about the online contest. And you also need to determine a method of communication or private signal with the contest chair should the contest need to be paused. And this kind of situation usually arises when you have having online contest, because sometimes the line quality is bad for the contestant or for any appointment holders. Then you may want to pause the contest. So the chief judge need to communicate with the contest chair about doing so. Now, when you brief the judges, again, bear in mind, you need to be fair. You need to tell the judges to judge according to the contest guidelines. You need to inform them not to take into consideration the number of years that contestant has been with Toastmasters, the title of that contestant, or the number of contests that contestants have won in the past. That is necessary. But you cannot mention contestant's name, okay? Because once you mention contestant name, it becomes unfair. I used to participate in speech contests, and one of the judges told me after the contest that the chief judge, while briefing the contestants, briefing the judges, mentioned my name 5 times. Not the exact words, but he's trying to tell the judges that because I had won speech contests before, doesn't mean that I will always be good. Now this becomes unfair, okay? Mentioning contestant's name becomes unfair. And my name was mentioned 5 times. So if you're a chief judge, please do not do that. Tie-breaking judge. Now before the contest, the chief judge selects a member to act as tie-breaking judge. And the identity of the tie-breaking judge is secret and known only to the chief judge. So the tie-breaking judge does not need to attend judge's briefing. The chief judge must provide the tie-breaking judge guide and ballot to the tie-breaking judge before the beginning of the contest. So the chief judge needs to distribute the following to the voting judges. The list of contestants in speaking order. Now, in many contests in Singapore, the speaking order is not known until immediately before the contest. So usually the contest chair will have the speaking order written on a flip chart or display on a screen. So you can ask the judges to take down the speaking order. Now, if the contest chair have done the balloting of the speaking position before the contest and give it to you as a chief judge, then you will distribute this list to your judges. You also distribute the judges' guide and ballot. Now, for the international speech contest, this is the judges' guide and ballot. So on the left column, you'll see the judging criteria. And on the right side, you write the contestant's name and brief the judges to give the marks accordingly. And at the end of after the last speaker has spoken, rank the first, second, and third position winners, write your name and sign the ballot form. Now, this is the tie-breaking judge guide. It is exactly the same on the top, except that the tie-breaking judge will rank every contestant. So you see the ballot at the bottom. The tie-breaking judge will rank every contestant. Now, this is the evaluation contest. Again, this is a judge's guide. And this is the tie-breaking judge guide. The top is the same. The ballot sheet at the bottom. Tie-breaking judge will rank every contestant. And these are table topics. This is the judge's guide. And this is the tie-breaking judge guide. So you can download all these from the Toastmasters International website. Now, you also need to distribute the judges' certification of eligibility and code of ethics. Again, this can be downloaded from the Toastmasters International website. If you haven't seen that, this is the form. So on the left side, you tick which contest it is, because at the different level contest, the judges' eligibility requirements are different. So on the right side is the code of ethics. Basically tells the judges to be fair. So you have the judges write down the name, membership number, the district, and date and sign. And also any, now for this online, I'll just skip that. So instruct all judges on protocol and procedure to mitigate and address unexpected challenges. So sometimes issues can come up during speech contests. And one common issue is the microphone or the sound system is not working. Now this process has been improved because nowadays, after the contest chair has introduced the contestant will say, "Thank you, contest chair." And if there's any issue with the microphone, the contest chair can stop the contest and work on the issue, correct the issue. If everything is fine, then the contest chair say, "You're welcome." Then the contestant begins the contest. So chances of the sound system not working is much reduced, okay? So for international speech, evaluation, humorous, and table topics and tall tale contests, ask the judges to sit close to the contest area in case the outside disturbance or malfunctioning of technical system. Now we skip the online. Review the judges' guide and ballot and also the speaking area. Now, earlier I showed you the judges' guide. Make sure the judges do not introduce your own rules. In the past, I have come across chief judge introduce their own rules. For humorous speech contest, he will brief the judges that make sure all the speeches have a message. Now, this is not in the judging guide. And this can be unfair because this chief judge could have a favorite contestant. And he could have told the favorite contestant, hey, make sure your speech has a message. And then he can brief the judges and say, make sure that the contestants' speeches have a message. And this could be unfair. Okay. So if you want to introduce your own rules, you need to write to the headquarters. The headquarters will think about it, put it, into new rule and approved by the international president-elect, and the CEO. Okay, as a chief judge, you cannot introduce your own rules. Now, brief the ballot counters in the use of the counters ballot sheet. If you haven't seen a ballot sheet before, this is a ballot sheet. Again, you can download it from the Toastmasters International website. So the ballot sheets on the top, you fill in the contestants' names, and the vertical column, you put in the judges' names, and then know how to do the job. So make sure you brief the timers. The details are all printed there, but it's best to go through with the timers, the timing for each contest. And then I suggest that you ask timers to tell you back the timing sequence to make sure that they really understand that. And it is also the chief judge's duty to provide the stopwatch to the timer. Brief the timer in the proper use of timing equipment if necessary. So don't assume that the timer will know how to use the timing device. Make sure that they can demonstrate to you the proper use of this timing device. Let's skip the online contest. Now, during the contest, okay, when the contestants are speaking, I suggest that the chief judge sit behind at the back of the room so that you can look at your judges, because some judges fall asleep during the contest. And when they fall asleep, and when the contestant finish the speech, everybody claps, then they wake up, then they start giving marks. Now that is not fair. I've come across a speech contest where I was telecounter. I was sitting in the front and heard some sound behind while a contestant was speaking. So I didn't turn back and see what happened. But when we are doing the counting, the chief judge told us that not to count one of the judges' ballot. And we asked why. She said they just fell asleep, that the board that they used to put the judges' guide even fell to the ground, fell onto the floor. But the judge still went ahead and give marks as if nothing had happened. So again, this is not fair to the contestant. Collect the tie-breaking judge's guide and the ballot from the tie-breaking judge, and resolve any eligibility or originality protests that may arise. I'll talk about that a little while later. But you need to inform the judges that in case there is any protest, how do you gather them? Okay, through WhatsApp or whatever methods, for secret code, but you need to gather them to discuss about that, and you need to inform them how they will be informed that they need to gather to discuss. Oversee the counting process and see that all ballots are counted twice to ensure accuracy. And provide a list of contest chair, a list to the contest chair showing the placement of all contestants. Now, when counting the ballots in the counting room, the ballot counters will tabulate the results of the contest using the counter tally sheet. Many years ago when I was contesting, there used to be a chief judge who has an unfair practice. Instead of letting the tally counters count the ballot, he didn't allow any tally counter to look at the ballot. He is the only one who sees the ballot and he reads out, John, 3 points, Peter, 2 points, Michael, 1. Peter, 3 points, Michael, 2 points, John, 1. He's the only one who sees the ballot. Now, this is unfair because he can either read it wrongly, intentionally, or unintentionally. So it is not for the chief judge to read the ballots to the tally counters. You got to let the tally counters see the ballot and do the counting. Even recently, I was a tally counter, and the chief judge, again, do not allow us to hold the ballot sheet. Initially do not allow us to see the ballot sheet. And he reads it out. And I told him it's not fair. You know, it shouldn't be done this way. And he started shouting and banging table. So to make sure that it's fair, I do the supervising while he reads out and the other tally counters do the counting and I do the supervising. So as chief judge, make sure that you only supervise. Okay, make sure that the tally counters read the ballot and they count twice to make sure that it's accurate. Now, in the event of a tie, the chief judge will consult the tie-breaking judge ballot. In this case, I have come across a chief judge. When there's a tie, the chief judge brings out the tie-breaking judge ballot and then look at the two contestants' score when there's a tie and add 1 point to the contestant who is ranked ahead of the other. Now, this is incorrect. In a situation whereby, let's say, one contestant got 10 points, two contestants got 9 points, so it's a tie. Now, if you use that method, you look at the tiebreaker's ballot and then say contestant A and B. Let's say contestant A is ranked before B by the tie-breaking judge. So you add 1 point to the contestant A. Now contestant A, originally 9 points becomes 10 points. So now contestant A is tied with the one who with 10 points. So there's a tie again. And that is incorrect. Okay. All you need to do as a chief judge is that there's a tie. You just look at the tie-breaking judge ballot and see who is ahead of the other. That is all. You don't add 1 point to the one ahead because it can make the whole situation wrong. Once the results have been tabulated and verified, the notification of contest winners form will be completed by the chief judge with the ranking of all contestants and submit to the contest chair of the next level, if applicable. So this is the notification of contest winner. The chief judge will rank every contestant's ranking and give it to the contest chair of the next level contest is because if the first one, the contestant with the first ranking cannot make it for the next level contest, then the contest chair can contact the second ranking. If the second ranking contestant cannot make it, then the third place. If the third place cannot make it, then the fourth. It goes down that way. So this form is necessary for the contest chair of the next level contest. But usually, sometimes the contest chair of the next level contest is not even appointed. So usually you can submit this to the contest chair of that current contest or the head of that unit, either the division director or the area director. Now the results form will be completed by the chief judge with the names of the winners in reverse order submitted to the contest chair. And this is the results form. You will also indicate whether there's any time disqualification. Now note that the third place winner is on the top, then followed by second place, and then then first place winner. The time of the stopwatch maintains, delivers to the chief judge a written record of elapsed time of each speech on the speech contest time record sheet and instructions for the timers. And this constitutes the official time. Now, take note, the chief judge cannot override the official time recorded. I have also come across chief judge when some contestants, 7 minutes, 31 seconds. The chief judge say, okay, let the person through. Or 7 minutes, 32 seconds. Oh, let the person through. The chief judge cannot override. Now, in the recent World Championship of Public Speaking in August, there were 2 time disqualifications. After the ballot counters collected ballot sheets, they took a long time for the counting. Now, I time every contestants. One of the contests, 2 were time disqualification. One of them spoke for close to 8 minutes. The other one, 7 minutes, 32 seconds. Now, I suspect they took a long time is because of this contestant, because I cannot see any other areas that they need a long time to discuss. So 7 minutes, 32 seconds. I believe they went back and looked through the recording to make sure that, yes, the person is disqualified, and eventually the person is disqualified. Okay, so the chief judge cannot override the timer. Protests are limited to eligibility, originality, and reference to another contestant or another contestant's speech, and must only be lodged by voting judges or contestants. Any protest must be lodged with the chief judge and or contest chair prior to the contest being adjourned. Sometimes there are 3 contests in one day. So after every contest, the contest is adjourned before the next contest can start. So if there's any protest, the protest must be lodged before the contest is adjourned, not before the result is announced. Okay, so I suggest the contest chair, before you adjourn the contest, ask, is there any protest? If there's no protest, then you adjourn the contest. So to make it clear. Now, before a contestant can be disqualified on the basis of originality or for referencing another contestant's speech, the contestant must be given an opportunity to respond to the voting judges. A majority of the voting judges must concur in the decision to disqualify. I came across a situation where, again, on the telecounter, it was a humorous speech contest. One of the contestants' speech was really good, but his jokes probably copied from somewhere from the internet. So there was a protest. The judges, the chief judge get the judges and they discuss. And instead of getting the contestant to respond to the protest, to the query, they decide to rank that contestant 2 levels down. That means if a judge originally ranked the person first, now rank it 3rd. If a judge ranked the person 2nd, now it will not be ranked. Now this is not right. You need to bring the contestant in, ask him, let him have a chance to respond, and then all the judges will vote. Now, if there are 9 judges, for example, If 4 judges say disqualify him, 3 judges say not to disqualify him, and 2 judges abstain. Should this contestant be disqualified? Can you on the mic and tell me the answer? Yes or no? Anyone? Should this contestant be disqualified? The
Cannot
answer
be.
is
Cannot be disqualified.
majority means over 50%. So if there are 9 judges, you need 5 judges to say disqualify before you can disqualify the contestant. 4 is not majority. Okay, because even 4 is higher than the 3 who says disqualify him. Not disqualify him, but 4 is not majority, so you cannot disqualify the contestant. Now, announcement of contest winner is final unless the list of winners is announced incorrectly, in which case the chief judge, ballot counters, or timers are permitted to immediately interrupt to correct the error. Now, this happened before. Okay, the contest Toastmaster read the sequence up the other way around. Instead of 3rd place, he read the 1st place winner. So the name is reversed. Now, not only that, okay, if it is read wrongly, the ballot counters know the position, the ranking of the winners. If there's anything read wrongly, ballot counters, chief judge will will interrupt and get it corrected. Now, if the timer, if you did the timing and you know 1 time disqualification, 7 minutes, 31 seconds, and when the contest Toastmasters say no time disqualification, you raise your hand. There is 1 time disqualification because you are the timer, you time it. I hope all of you are clear with all this. So I think that's the end of the presentation. Is there any questions? I think probably I have only 2 or 3 minutes to answer any question. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself and I'll be happy to answer them.
Hello, Joachim.
Hi.
I'm Janet.
Hi.
Janet, can I just ask, for example, the contestant and that day what happened? The contestant and the test speakers were from the same club. And
What level contest is that?
area.
Okay, that should not happen.
Yeah, so it happened. And I'm not a sore loser, but it's just that how do we prevent this type of situation from happening? Because personally, I don't know who the contestant was from the same club as the test speaker, but someone mentioned it. Then at I think during the break time or before the announcement of the result, the contest Toastmasters mentioned any protest, but we don't know what happened. I also don't know what happened.
Okay, you cannot protest on this because you can only protest on originality and eligibility, and also speaking or referring to other contestants or other contestants' content. So you cannot protest on this. But the chief judge, the contest chair needs to know this because the contest chair is the one who appoints the test speaker. So the contest chair should have come to this training. Unfortunately, many contest chair, many chief judges don't come because they thought they already know everything, but they should come. Yeah. So I think that if it is already happened, I think there's not much that you can do.
I mean, it's okay if like I mean, they are better than me. I agree. But it's just that how do we prevent from setting these type of things when we want to encourage our fellow Toastmasters, our club members to participate, and then they don't want to feel discouraged when they really make effort to come for the event, and after that, there's such things that happen that is like not very like somehow it's like not so well organized.
Yeah, I think the contest, if somebody before the contest starts notice that, then should reflect it to the contest chair, and the contest chair should appoint a different test speaker.
Okay.
Because I think many people can, deliver a speech without much preparation. It doesn't need to be a well-prepared speech, because that's really to let the evaluation contestants test the skill of evaluation. But really, I think every appointment holders need to read the contest rule. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's about all the time I have. Let me hand it back to the Toastmaster of the day. But just before you go, let us have fair contests for all contestants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Ng Che Kim, for your sharing. A very important point, I think, for us to take note of is that we should read the latest version of the contest rule book, regardless of whichever role we are doing for the contest, so that we can carry out the contest fairly. Now, just a reminder to all participants or to everyone, there will be a short Q&A session at the end. So I've received some questions in the chat. These questions will be attended to later at the end of the session. Now, of course, the chief judge cannot function without his or her team of judges. How then can a Toastmaster ensure that they become a fair judge? Because chief judges needs a team of judges. To understand this, our next trainer, distinguished Toastmaster Anand Arya Ratnam, will be covering the topic of contest judging. Now, this TM, Toastmaster Anand, is a Toastmaster who brings 12 years of rich Toastmaster experience to the table. He has participated in countless contests and taken on the various contest appointments from contest judge, chief judge, both online and on physical contest settings. With his wealth of experience and understanding, Anand is here to provide valuable insights on how to mark contestant ballots fairly and objectively to ensure that the best speaker progresses to the next level of competition. Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Anand.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. Hatta, if you can't hear me,
Okay.
let me know.
Farhan is timing. I will pin him so you can see him in case.
Okay, sure. Okay, so let's start. Well, welcome everyone to my session. What I will be sharing today is mainly on the contest ballot sheets. Okay, I will be mainly focusing on the international speech contest ballot sheets. We will go through a mock contest. We will have two speakers coming up to give a speech, and then we will get all participants, everybody here on Zoom, to participate as judges. And after which, then we will compare the results, have a short discussion about what you think of the results. And then if we do have time, I will move on to sharing with you more about the evaluation speech contest ballots, as well as the table topics, speech contest ballots. All right. So this is what I'll be going through. And let us first start off with the international speech contest. Okay, now in international speech contest, the main idea here is to send a clear message, and your speech should be supported in such a way where the message becomes very clear. Okay? You like to hear original speech, your own personal stories. So whenever you come up with your own speech contest, please consider this point. Okay? Substantially original. Now, when you look at the international speech contest ballots, there will be two pages. The first page is where you write down your ballots, and the second page is for the judging criteria. So I will go through the judging criteria in a little bit more detail so that you can understand how to go about marking the ballots for the International Speech Contest. Okay, so now let's take a look at the marks. The contest ballot sheet is divided to 50% goes to the content, 30% to the delivery, and only 20% is the language. So when it comes to International Speech Contest, this is very important. The content is king. You must have a good content when you want to participate in a contest like this. So let's focus on what the content, speech content is. Now I have extracted this out from the second page of the ballot sheet. So let us dive a little bit deeper in and see what are each and every one of these criteria are. So when we talk about 50% of the speech content, 50% of this is from the content alone. 15%, 15 points goes to the development of the speech, meaning your speech should be structured well. Okay, and of course, then you must be able to engage the audience. You start off with a question, something engaging, ask the audience for some response, something to get them engaged. And as your speech progresses towards a conclusion, do they have any stories to share, any those facts, figures, something to make sure that the message is clear? And what you need to look out for then is a smooth delivery from start to end. Okay, so this is only on the speech structure and content itself. Then we have 10 points for the effectiveness. Was the speaker's purpose clear? Okay, this whole speech, did it finally align and create a strong message to the end? Okay, that is important. Okay, and that accounts for 10 points. And finally, a big chunk of it is 25 points goes to the value of the speech. Okay, did the speaker present something meaningful? Okay, was the audience, wow, I really felt for his speech. Okay, was it impactful to the audience? Okay, and was the ideas shared significant? Now, I have been to many contests. I've been a judge and chief judge in many contests. Sometimes when I hear the speakers, they give such beautiful insights. I mean, it's very original, the way they have some humor going on, it's inspiring. And the ideas they give is, to me, quite mind-blowing. But they don't get placed. Okay, so for me, I find that a bit weird because now if you can present a complex idea in such a clear manner that everyone should understand, why don't they get placed? From my own insights on all this, sometimes ideas can be a bit too complex for the audience. Okay, your idea might be a bit too complex. Try to distill it further to get the main essence out. Don't make your speech too complicated. And as long as the value in the end, the message is strong and clear, you probably have a good chance of coming home with a trophy. All right. So now let's look at delivery. Now, delivery accounts for 30% of the speech. And we look at the delivery, of course, body language comes into play. Okay, now, when this portion of the ballot sheet says that appearance, now it's not appearance like wearing a coat or tie or jacket, okay? Yes, sometimes be presentable when you're up on stage, okay? And make sure that however you're dressed, it adds value to your speech, okay? You make yourself look credible. But this appearance is more about your face, or whether your gestures was impactful to the speech. When you're telling something serious, did you have a serious face? Or when I'm doing something funny, was it funny? What was the appearance when you were trying to convey the speech? Body language, gestures, expressions, how you position yourself in the stage, how well you use the speaking area, all that counts for 10% of this part. Next is voice, okay, flexibility. Whether the speaker moves when he presents, he has pauses, he does not how to say, go on monotonously. There's some ups and downs, some rates or some different volumes when he speaks. When you do that, yes, it becomes much more pleasing to hear. Now, one of the things which I have noticed over the years is many times the speakers will break into a song. Does this account for vocal variety? Okay. It all depends on whether that song helps to emphasize his speech. Okay, if there's some component that makes okay, he uses the song to bring out some emotion or some part of the speech, I think it's fair. But many times I do hear people just throwing in a song just to demonstrate their vocal variety. You can always do it differently. Have pauses, rate, your pitch goes up, goes down at different points of your speech. That is vocal variety to me. Okay? Important, please make sure you pronounce and enunciate the words clearly so that the judges can understand what you're saying. Okay, next, we have manner, enthusiasm, assurance. Now, there are some speakers I met over the years. When they come up on stage, they have this aura and they have this way of delivering their speech. So much of confidence. And I feel that is a main point that gives some level of additional points to the speaker because he comes out very sure of himself and very confident as a very confident speaker. So how do you improve on this? Practice. Okay, just practice until you feel that the message and what your body language, your gestures, everything flows in together to deliver a powerful speech. I think you will get these 10 points down. Now, next one is the language. Appropriateness and correctness. Let's talk about appropriateness of language. Okay, the choice of words should relate to the speech purpose. Okay, and it should be clear and should promote what you're trying to say. Okay, please make sure the words that you choose kind of fits to the delivery of the speech or to the main message. Another thing which we need to take note of is the correctness of language, grammar, pronunciation, and whether this person is able to make his speech sound nice. Okay, now when we use certain words, the way if we use triads or we have some anaphora or some rhetorical devices inside it, it makes the speech a bit more pleasant to listen. So do consider when you do write a speech or do deliver a speech, have some of these rhetorical devices so that it becomes very pleasant to hear. In summary, we have just gone through all the parts of the judging items in the International Speech Contest ballot. And if you really want to look at each and every one to see what it really means, this is my take on it. If you look at the speech development structure, whether there's a clear body, clear opening, body, and conclusion, whether the message was clear, whether it was value to you by listening to it. How was the body language? Was the vocal variety? And was the speaker authentic or spoke with confidence? And the appropriateness of the speech to the words used for the audience. How appropriate was it? And the word using rhetorical device or words. This is my take on how, if you can just follow this well or have a good understanding of this, you should be able to mark the ballots well. All right. So, and now we come to the part where we get everyone here on Zoom to be a judge. Okay, so what's going to happen now is we are having two speakers. Okay, we are just going to listen to their speech, after which I will show you a QR code. You scan the QR code and then you start, we'll give you 1 minute of so-called 1 minute of silence to judge the speaker. Okay, we will do it 2 times, and after that we will discuss upon the results. Okay, so let me just stop sharing first and share with you something else before we move on to the speech proper. Okay, hold on, please. All right. Okay, let me share my screen again, and you will roughly get an idea what I'm trying to get at. Okay. So there won't be too many questions later. Okay. So what I've done is I have taken, once you scan the QR code, you will come up to these questions, okay? And in these questions, what you will see is it tallies with what you will see in the international speech contest ballot. And you just have to choose whether it's excellent, very good, good, or fair. Okay, and it follows these points here. Okay, so what we need to do is just go through all this 1, 2, and 3. Then after that, you press submit. Okay. So, any questions? If there's no questions, I'd like to hand it over to Hatta, our Toastmaster today.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Anand. I will be introducing 2 speakers, and I will be introducing each speaker with their name, speech title, and then their name again, just like how it goes in a real contest. After which, each speaker, please respond with thank you, contest Toastmaster. Now, speaker number 1, Mitu Didi, the ghost exists. The ghost exists. Mitu Didi.
Thank you, Contest Master. The ghost exists. How many of you believe in this statement? A show of hand, if possible. A story to share for those who do not believe in ghosts. Greetings to all Toastmasters here. Flashback to the time when I was just 10 years old. Grandmother and I, grandmother whom I call Dadi, we were just walking back home after attending a Deepavali carnival. The time was about midnight and it was pitch dark, moonless night. I could hear the loud chirping of crickets and the croaking of frogs. And not to forget, intermittent howling of a lone dog. I was little scared. And to distract my mind, I started humming a song to myself. Walking a little further than my Dadi. And then suddenly I saw this huge, majestic, gigantic, magnificent banyan tree. It was so huge that its branches were almost kissing the sky. I was awestruck. I paused. I stood there. and started looking at that tree. And suddenly, I realized that my Dadi had often told me that on the moonless night, the ghosts, they reside on the tree. And if you stop and look back, the ghost will start chasing you. A curiosity kills the cat. The moment you tell a child that don't do something, the child will definitely do it. And I did it. I looked back, and there I saw an apparition floating in the air with his white beard, his bloodshot red eyes, and his pointed nails extended towards me and calling out my name, me too, come, me too, come. I got transfixed to the spot, and I wanted to shout, but there was a lump in my throat. I could not do anything. I kept staring at that spirit. I closed my eyes, and after some time, I heard my Dadi shouting, "You silly girl, didn't I tell you not to stop and not to look back?" I opened my eyes, the ghost was not there. I hugged my Dadi and I started crying. I told her about that ghostly encounter. And then she said, instead of pacifying me, she admonished me and she said, "Didn't I tell you not to do this? You disobey me. And now this ghost will follow you for the rest of your life." I reached back home, and next 7 days, I was down with fever, friends, down with fever. And even then, when I recovered, I could have that ghost as my constant companion. He would come in my nightmares. He would torture me. He would torment me. And this went on for over 2 decades. Until one day, I said, enough is enough. I decided to face my fear head on. And thankfully, I had a beautiful daughter who was 10 years old. She encouraged me. And we revisited the same place, the same site, on the same moonless night. As we both stood in front of that gigantic and magnificent tree, holding each other's hands, we looked at the tree and then we looked back. There was no ghost. We started laughing. And from then on, friends, it was happily ever after for me. Now, what did I learn from this experience? 3 invaluable lessons in life. Firstly, children have vivid imagination. You tell them a story and they can imagine it. Second is face your fears head on, friends. Fear is just our imagination, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And third, we as adults have to act responsibly. We cannot pass on our rancid ideas, rancid beliefs to our younger generation. Friends, ghosts exist. I reiterate my point. Ghosts exist, but it only exists in our imagination. And this imagination is our deep-seated fear. Face it head on and liberate yourself from that fear. Over to you, Timod. Hata.
Thank you, Mitu. We will now observe 1 minute of silence. Anand, will you be sharing the QR code? As we observe the 1 minute of silence, everyone, use your chance to play role of a judge, of a voting judge. Please scan the code that you see here so that you can give your scores to Mitu's speech.
Just let me know when 1 minute is up and we can carry on with the next speaker.
Okay, 1 minute's up.
Our second speaker is Isabelline Isa. Crossing the Rainbow Bridge. Crossing the Rainbow Bridge. Isabelline Isa.
Eileen, you need to ask.
Eileen, can you unmute yourself?
Thank you, Contest Toastmaster. May I have a raise of hands who have lost their loved ones before? Use the heart reaction on your Zoom option. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, contest chair and friends. As a fellow Toastmaster, I came across an elective project in the Pathway Base Camp where you could deliver a eulogy. And if I could turn back time, I would dedicate it to my pet chibi, my late beloved princess. She was a small, just like her name, directly translated from Japanese, and unassuming, yet with a fierce spirit that believed she's mighty. And when I first knew you, all drenched from the rain, I didn't know what to expect or how to even care for you. I knew you had health problems, but I didn't know what it entails in the next 6 years to come. We had our roller coaster life, and you saw how broken I was in that old home. And you knew each time when I needed someone to lean on, you always came over to comfort me. Friends, I hope that you also have someone that you could lean on. Chibi, you gave me the strength, grit, and reason to live despite all of those hardships, pushing myself to earn more, to keep up with your medical bills. And you love the beach, just basking under the sun with your paws on the soft sand. And I remembered when we were at the cafe together, you were snarling at an enormous dog that came so close to you to show how feisty you are, and you have set the boundaries that I feel to generally. And you taught me how to create a routine and be disciplined, like how you will get angry. And if I forgot to feed you a home cooked meal on time, oops. But I decided to face my fear. The last moments when you were struggling to breathe. And I will hold on to you while the veteran inject you to sleep. I could not shout. I just closed my eyes and tear. And it's been 2 years since you left. But I still feel your presence, especially that night when I bawled my eyes out after my heart betrayed me. And in summary, Chibi, my late beloved princess, you taught me that the things another human being might not be able to convey the same message. Also teaching me how to love you unconditionally, like how you loved me back since the day I rescued you. My dear friends, hold on close to your loved ones and even closer if it's your pet. And I would request you to reflect, cherish, and learn from them. Because you will never know how they will teach you a lifelong learning lesson before they cross the Rainbow Bridge. Back to you, contestant.
Thank you, Eileen, Isabelin. We will now observe 1 minute of silence. Please scan the QR code to vote, to cast your ballots.
One minute up.
All right. So
Thank you.
Thank-
Are there any protests? Any protests from judges? You know, all of you are judges at this point. Would you like to raise any protest to
I
the
protest. I think the second speaker actually quoted a phrase or two from the first speaker.
Okay. So, Joaquin, what do you think about this? Because the second speaker did quote something from the first speaker. So should the second speaker be disqualified?
Well, in that, Rick,
Yeah, there's an echo coming from your.
yep.
Joaquin has 2 devices?
Okay.
Okay, if there's a protest, then the chief judge will have to gather the judges together and discuss about that, and also call up the speaker to say there's a protest that against you for quoting the previous speaker. What is your response to that? So that the speaker will have to explain yes or no. And then after that, then that speaker will leave, and then the judges will vote.
Okay, thank you, Joaquin, for sharing a bit on that. So let us now move to how the contestants so-called fared. Okay, now this is probably the first and only time we will see the judges score. Now the main purpose here is to try to understand when when the judges do balloting, sometimes the answers can be very close. Now, the one on my left is the first speaker. The one on my right is the second speaker. Now, when you look at how the speech was developed in terms of the structure, now most of them felt that the first one had a more clear structure. Okay? And when they talk about effectiveness or speech value, they both were rated about the same. How about the delivery? Well, more of them agreed that the delivery by the second speaker was a little bit higher compared to the first one. And when you look at the voice modulation, more of the judges agreed that maybe a voice flexibility was better for the first speaker. Now let us move to the last one, which is the use of language. I would say is about the same for both. So this roughly gives you an idea about sometimes when as judges, the results can be quite close. Then what is the thing that you will do? How are you going to judge them fairly? Let me stop sharing first. This is the question I usually get from a lot of my mentees. Okay, how do you then judge fairly for a speech contest? To me, I have done a few, over the years, I've learned how to do certain things which I will try to make it as fair as possible in the sense where when I do a contest ballot sheet, okay, when I do a contest ballot sheet, what will happen is I will always put the first speaker on the right side. Okay, so that means it's at the end of the thing. Usually people will put beside the judging items, they will put their names for first speaker, second speaker. I do it the opposite. I start from the back. And when I start from the back, once I finish marking the speakers, I will then fold it on the side. So I cannot see the first speakers total. Then I move on to the second one. Then I move on to the third one. Every time when I finish mark, I will just fold so I cannot see and don't get my mind biased about the actual points. So when I try to do this, I try to be as objective as possible based on the points there. Okay, so this is what I do. You might find your own way, a process or something which helps you judge more objectively. But yes, you can feel free to share later on during the Q&A sessions if you have ideas on how to make it more objective. Okay, now I'll just have about a few more minutes. I'd like to quickly go through the other part of the rest of my slides. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Atta?
Not yet.
Not yet, huh? Let me just. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen now? Yep, thanks, Lisian. Okay, so for evaluation speech contest, I will quickly go through this after reading through all the judging criteria, and trying to understand it better. This is what I can distill it to. Okay, it is always about analyzing the speech. Find out what are the strengths and weaknesses of the speech. Make sure that the evaluator contestants are giving clear and specific recommendations. Okay. Also, see how encouraging their technique is, the way they speak. Was it encouraging or was it very harsh? Okay. And finally, one of the important things which can make and break a evaluator contestant is whether they can conclude and recap whatever they said earlier. Many times when you see evaluation speech contestants, and they will score very well on the first three, okay, the analysis on the recommendations technique. But then later they realize, oh, I'm running out of time, and they don't conclude well. Okay, that can make a difference between the first and second place. Okay, so please remember to keep some time so that you can conclude and recap the speech, the evaluation points for your speaker. Okay, focus on being or giving value to the speaker, not just for the fluff. Okay. Do take note of these points. This is for the evaluation contest. So how to judge fairly when you're doing an evaluation speech contest? Okay, I will always recommend my judges to write down some notes, listen to the test speaker as well. Okay, there have been cases where I've heard the evaluators prepare their evaluation beforehand, and then when they come to the actual contest, they just say a few things here, and it sounds very credible. It sounds so good, and you would think that what they gave a very good evaluation. But when you really analyze it in detail, they probably are not going to talk about any of the contents there. So it's not being fair to the other evaluators. Okay, so please take note. Compare the evaluators, contestants, whatever they are saying with your notes. See whether actually are they evaluating what you just heard from the test speaker. Okay, don't sleep, judges. Okay, pay attention to the test speakers. Pay attention to the evaluators. Okay. And finally, I would like to touch on quickly on the table topic speech contest. Now, this table topic speech contest, I will go through very, very quickly because of this. Okay. When you look at the table topic contest ballot forms, okay, you have content, which is 55 points, and it's a lot, right? Okay, because we have to focus on 30 points goes to the speech development. Looks familiar. And 25% goes to the effectiveness. Was the table topic, was he aligned to the topic? He did not go off and he spoke well about the topic. How effective did the speaker get? Delivery, okay, the same thing with a speech contest. Did he use the appearance, body language, speaking area when he was delivering his speech? How was his voice? Was there, up and down, the tonality, vocal variety? Did he inject that in his speech? And language. All these sounds or looks very, very familiar. Appropriateness of language. Correctness of language. Everything looks the same. So table topics contest ballot, when you really look at it in detail, it is very similar to the international speech contest ballots. There are 2 points which are missing. One is on the speech value and one is on the manner from the International Speech Contest Guide. So let me just touch on a little bit on the International Speech Contest. To me, sometimes when I mark my contestants, the points can be very, very close or sometimes even the same. Then I'll say, how do I break my own tie? I would then go back and look at the speech value, whether that particular speaker gave something of value. Did I learn something from that speaker? And that would get, for me, a point higher, and that would break my tie. Okay, another one you can look into is the manner or enthusiasm, but that is the points that are quite less small compared to the 25 points for the speech value. Okay, so do consider this point, and at the last part of any ballot sheet, they will always go through the judge's code of ethics. In summary, just be fair, okay? If you go up there, you are a judge, and then you see, oh my God, my own club members contesting. Okay, tell your judge, explain to the judge. Okay, by right, all these things should be sorted out even before the contest starts. But please, let's be fair to all the other speakers as well. All right? Any questions? Okay, if not, I will hand it over to Hatta. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Distinguished Toastmaster Anand. I believe we have a clearer picture how we can become more just and fair when we're doing our judge duties. The time now is about 8:56 p.m. We will go for a quick bio break and we will assemble again once more at 9 p.m. Let's go for a short break and thank you so much for your questions that most of you have raised at the chat. We will have a Q&A session at the end of this session. But before we go for the break, can we have a quick photo taking session, please? Please turn off your videos quickly and then we can go for our short break. Zuri, are you taking the photo or Farhan?
I'll take.
All right.
Okay, ready? Everyone smile. Give me your prettiest and most handsomest smile. One. There's two pages, so take twice. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thanks. Give me a minute. Okay, one more. Ready? Just keep smiling. 1, 2, 3, smile. Very handsome, very pretty. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll be back here at 9 for the last part of today's training. Thank you very much. See you back in a while. Lysian, are you in a park?
Yes, I am. Hi, Hatta.
Hi, Lysian. Nice park. It's still
Thanks.
sunny there, yeah? Are you in another part of the world?
Yeah, 12 hours difference. So that's why it's sunny. And I need to attend the meeting, so thanks for sharing. Thanks for organizing. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you all at another event.
Anand, since you're there, right? There's this question.
Yeah,
When the contestants sing, does that mean that he or she has vocal variety? Can you please elaborate and explain this point further? I think this was your example just now. Right?
Yeah. You mentioned that just now. Vocal variety, to me, today, I think both the speakers had very good vocal variety. The way they enunciated the words, how they stressed on certain things. To me, that is vocal variety. And you don't need to sing just to demonstrate that. Okay, so if that song some way needs to, is used to support your speech, that is fine. Okay, but I will still go back to the speech. How was the vocal variety done when they were speaking? Okay.
And not depend on the singing, right?
Yes, not depend on singing. No.
All right, the time now is 9 p.m. In order not to delay, I would like to move on or start with the last part of today's training session. And in this third part, we have really talked about being chief judge, how to be a good chief judge, how to be fair judges. Now we want to talk about contest management. Now to give us a bit of insights on proper or good practices for contest management, we have with us today Toastmaster Zuria Arifin, Division E Director. Now Zuria has also taken part in various speech contests and have won various speech contests. Of course, she also has got experience conducting and chairing contests. So let us now shine the spotlight on Toastmaster Zuria Arifin.
Thank you. Hi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for making time to attend today's workshop. Thank you for staying throughout this entire workshop. Now, organizing a successful contest requires a great deal of planning, coordination, and really attention to detail. So whether it's an event, a community competition, a professional contest, and all, everything needs to run smoothly. And participants really need to feel supported so that the contest achieve its objective. So I hope today's management session will help you and provide you with the skills and the knowledge to handle the task efficiently. I am going to somehow share it live. So you will see me writing live, okay? I will answer your queries during the Q&A session. Okay, so basically, mainly almost everything that I'm sharing here will start off with understanding what is the contest management about, what are the roles and responsibility. Then we'll move forward to the execution process and how do you plan all this when you're doing your own contest. Okay, so what are the different roles in contests? Okay, so the different roles in the contest would be definitely your contest chair, who is also your organizing chair. Okay, your contest Toastmaster, who is also your TMD. The chief judge, who will also bring the tally counter and the timer and the sergeant at arms. The people who are supporting the contest. So how many sergeant at arms do you usually have? Minimally 2. Okay, minimally 2 sergeant at arms to support. I'll show you later what or how the sergeant at arms are placed and how they can support in the contest. So let's go through the roles in the contest. Now, mainly all these roles in the contest can be found in the contest rule book. I have segregated to the different roles and responsibility of the different appointment holders, so you can really know what are the things that you need to look out for. Now, the most important person in a contest is, besides the contestant, is your contest chair. Okay, so because you need to set the time and place for the contest, and you need to select your appointment holders. So who are the appointment holders that you need to find? Your chief judge, your contest Toastmaster, the test speaker, and nobody else should know who the test speakers are except for you until the day of the contest, when the contest Toastmaster actually announced who the test speaker is. Also, determine the agenda for your contest or your program sheet. Okay, arrange the logistics and download the different certificates. I'll share with you what are the certificates of participation and the winning certificates that can be found on the TI platform. Okay, of course, you need to notify the contest official of the time and place. Okay, and the pre-contest briefing. So mainly, most of the time, the pre-contest briefing can be done via WhatsApp, or most of us practice pre-contest briefing like probably 30 minutes to 45 minutes before the actual contest. So you actually get the appointment role holders to come earlier and you will brief them accordingly. Okay, so what are the things you need to do? Firstly, you need to collect the forms of your contestants, the contest speech profile. This is actually optional. Okay, but best to have, just to take note of who the contestants are, especially if you're doing at area or division level. Best to actually get to know your contestants better. And of course, the certification of eligibility and originality, which is in item 1183. Now, the most important thing, okay, you need to verify the contestants' membership status. Verify the education, because if the contestant is competing in the international speech contest, they have to complete level 1 and level 2 of any path in the Toastmasters Pathway Learning Experience or earn a Distinguished Toastmaster Award. How do you know? How do you find out, or how do you figure it out? You need to use the eligibility assistant at the TI website to check on the eligibility of the contestants. So during the contestant briefing, you need to verify the presence of contestants and pronunciation of their name. For example, I am a contestant, and then the person who came is a guy. Hi, I'm Zuria. That means the name and the person who is contesting is two different people. So you need to ensure that the presence of the contestants is correct, and check with the club presidents or VPs whether this is the actual person who is contesting. Because their club names will be, their club number would be indicated in the eligibility form. Of course, you need to review the speaker's certification of eligibility and originality, and you need to remind contestants that by signing this form, they have certified and understand the rules regarding the eligibility and originality. Focus and emphasize on the timing protocols with the speakers. Get acquainted with the exact speaking area. So later on, I will share with you how do we share with our contestants the speaking area. And determine the speaking position as dictated by the rules. So you can do balloting, you can do randomizer to identify or determine the speaking positions of each contestant. And of course, any protest from the contestant will be made known to the contest chair or the contest Toastmaster. All right, now contest Toastmaster. Definitely you have to start the contest. You are the Toastmaster of the day, but you also act as the one who timekeeps the entire program sheet. Okay, open the contest with a brief introduction, but you need to inform the audience this. The rules have been reviewed. This is very important. This line is very important. Please repeat and dictate this every time you are a contest Toastmaster. Okay, this is written in the rule book. Okay, and introduce each speaker, each contest speaker, and upon completion, you will ask the voting judges or the tiebreaker judge to complete their ballots, and they'll be given 1 minute to do so. So later on, what I will do is the execution part of it. I'll be sharing with you an excerpt or an example of how a contest Toastmaster script looks like. Okay. Then after the last contestant is done speaking, the contest Toastmaster will ask if there are any protests to be raised to the by the contestant or the chief judge, and if there is no contest, if there is no protest, not contest, there is no protest. If no, the protest is no protest, contest is adjourned. So there was an incident where there was a protest. However, it was that I've ever encountered that there was a protest, but the chief judge has not adjourned because they are still in discussion whether there is a protest or not. However, contest Toastmaster adjourned the contest. And then people start walking around, and then people start walking around the judges because they kind of figure out that the judges are there. So when this happens, right, chief judge, you need to really say, stop, the contest is not urgent. You need to stop, everybody sit down until all ballots have been collected and everything has been deliberated, then the contest is urgent. You've got to put your foot down on this. Now, while the ballot counters are counting the ballots, this is the part where your contest Toastmaster may interview each speaker or give out certificate or go for a break, and it all depends on the program planned by the contest chair. So for chief judge, I will not dive deep into it because the role has already been covered by our first speaker. I will move on to Sergeant at Arms first. Okay, so what does Sergeant at Arms do? Sergeant at Arms really help you with the setting up of the contest. So during the contest, Sergeant at Arms 1, why I say minimally 2, Sergeant at Arms 1, ensure that no one goes in and out of the venue while the speaker is speaking. Okay, and during evaluation or table topic speech contest, Sergeant at Arms 2 will escort or accompany the contestants in the holding room. Now, at the end of a 5 minutes preparation, when the time is up, the preparation time is up, Sergeant at Arms 2 will collect it, except for the first speaker. Then when subsequent speakers moving to the staging area, then they will give the evaluation notes to the speaker. Okay, and they will usher the next contestant during the 1 minute of silence while the judges are deliberating or marking their ballots. Okay, now timer. So timer, there are 2 timers. So what are the roles of these 2 timers? Number 1, the timer 1 will be timing the contestant's speech. So international contest will be as such, evaluation contest will be as such, and table topic speech contest will be as such. Okay, and no audible device such as a buzzer shall be used for the contest. Okay. Now timer 2 will be the one timing the 1 minute of silence between the speeches. Okay. Or they'll be the one accompanying during the evaluation speech contest 5 minutes preparation. Now, when that happens, what happens if the timer 2 is at the holding room? Then timer 1 is the one doing the contestant's speech. Then timer 1 will have to do a dual role where they will be timing the contestant's speech as well as the 1 minute of silence. I hope that clarifies. So for telecounter, the role has already been covered by our first speaker. And this is the most important one, the contestant themselves. Okay, so contestants, if you are contesting this year, take note, you need to select a topic and prepare your own substantially original speech. Like just now you heard, some quotes are there will lead to protest. Okay. Of course, you need to attend the contestants briefing and you need to inform your contest chair of any props you plan to use. Now, when we are saying props, please take note that the props you use does not include weaponry or any intimate attires. Please keep your prop as clean as possible. Okay. Review your speaker's certification of eligibility and originality form. And you need to sign this form because then you would have certified that you have read and understand the rules regarding the eligibility and originality. Of course, during that day, when you are having your contestants briefing, you need to take note of the speaking area. And in 1 minute of silence before your introduction, you can set up any props or any visual aids. So after you have been introduced, you will proceed the speaking area, say thank you, contest chair. And when the contest chair say you're welcome, you begin your speech. Just like how you see our speakers, Mitu and Eileen, prepared themselves. Now, if you see a red signal, please wrap it up, even if you're not finished with your speech. And you must not reference another contestant or a speech presented by another contestant. Okay, and immediately following your speech, please remove all props or visual aids from the speaking area. Okay, now we are doing, just now what we did was we just go through the roles and responsibility. Now we are going to look at planning the contest. So in planning of the contest, I have 6 different checklists. Okay, where I prepare in preparation for my contest. I am using a template which was used during an area contest that I chaired 2 years ago. So you can take a look. If you require a copy of it and you wish to use it, this would be a good tool if it's the first time you are preparing a contest, especially for the VPEs who are planning their club contest or the new area directors who has never planned a contest before and would require help or support in planning a contest. So let me share with you the checklist that I have. All right, So when we first start on our checklist, right, guys? Okay, this is how I plan. So we will always have a timeline. Okay, this being the contest date. And usually if it's a bigger events like an area contest or a division contest, you probably would want to plan it much earlier. So let's say if you are an area director and I remember George is George in Division Z is doing their area contest, and their area contest is in September. So if you are an area director, you have a very short runway to get all the different role holders. Okay, so what you need to do is, usually what I will do is, if I have a contest in February, I will start planning in November. So by November 24, so let's say my contest date is February 2025. So November 2024, I will already find my CJ. I will already find my contest Toastmaster. On test Toastmaster. Okay, this is the first thing I would do. Then what I will do is by December, I would have, okay, base this on an area contest, okay? Okay, so by December, what I would have done is I would have briefed my presidents, my CPs and VPEs. Why? I will need to inform them when is the contest and the venue. The venue of the contest and the date and time. It's very important because this helps them prepare for their own club contest. Okay. In fact, November is considered quite late because then it only gives them January to plan for their club contest. Okay. So if your division contest is in April, then you already align your area contest best to share the dates with the club presidents and VPEs so that they be able to plan their club contest more effectively and efficiently prior to the area contest. So after that, what I will do is by January, I would have already, all roles have been taken. And I will have a checklist of what documents I need to prepare in order to have a smooth contest. Then after that, I will show you what are the things that I have actually planned. So this is just a timeline. I'm not necessarily saying that you need to follow through, but if you have a contest date, you should start planning months in advance. Do not wait until a month before your contest, then you start finding role takers. Why? Because most of the time, if you have a contest in February and you want to find a chief judge in January, trust me, it's very difficult to find a judge for your area contest or division contest simply because that is contest season. A lot of people are taking up a lot of judging roles. So it's very difficult to accommodate to your request. So best to find your CJ early and your contest Toastmaster early so they can block the dates just for you. So this is an example of my checklist. Please, this is an example of my checklist. So this was my area contest, which I planned. So this was the program sheet. Okay, we'll start off with a checklist. If you require a sample of it, please let me know. I'm more than happy to share this. Okay, so for contest planning, these are the role takers. So at that period of time, we had a hybrid, both online and on-site. So what I did was, I had all these role takers. Of course, I had a Zoom master. I had the online role takers, and of course, now you know who my test speaker was during that day. Okay, and I also had a venue confirmation, and I need the confirmation. I recorded down when I'm getting my contestant's name. So I will tell my club presidents of my vice presidents that, look, by 31st of January, you need to inform me of your who are the people who are representing your club for the area contest. Okay. Then what I usually do is I will make it a point, because we will have an area council meeting. So during the area council meeting, I will conduct a briefing. Okay, and it was done online. And I will also keep reminding the president, because you have January, you have February, you have March. I think my Yeah, I think mine is not much. My contest at that period of time was in February 18th, if I remember correctly. Okay, I might be wrong. I can't remember now. So I will send reminder to presidents to send me the contestant's name. Why? Because I need to give out the eligibility form to the contestant, and I need to check whether they are actually eligible for the contest. So if your club president take a very long time, you will also take a very long time to prepare what admins you need to prepare. Okay, and then I will create the WhatsApp group a week before the contest, and I will get the contestant to report 45 minutes before the contest for verification purposes. Okay, like for example, a girl's name become a guy's. The name is Sally Lim Mei Ling. Come out, some Chinese guy. So the name and the person must fit. Okay, now prepare the contestants forms and print out the eligibility forms to submit to your CJ. Okay, and then also remind your role takers. So this is what I did. So especially, and please, since the contest, I understand the hassle of preparing a program sheet. Sometimes even at the last minute, there will still be changes. However, if your contest is on the 18th. See, my contest is on the 18th of February, right? If your contest is on the 18th of February, okay, the latest I will send is by 17th. Sorry, 17th of February, not much. Okay, I will forward the program sheet, especially to my contest Toastmaster. But I will try to do it 3 to 4 days earlier because my contest Toastmaster also need to prepare the script. We cannot just give at the last minute and then you expect the contest Toastmaster to prepare the script. I'll show you an example. Ask your area division. Yes. Please do not ask. Yeah, if you have any question later, yeah, please do not ask your division director or anything. You need to find them yourself. Okay, you cannot ask people to find for you. You really need to find for yourself. How do you find people? You go club visits very often. You club hop most of the time, then get to know people, you network, and then you get to find more Toastmasters. Okay, then you update the CJ on how many judges the CJ require, how many what are the things that you need to prepare, how many telecounter form and the timer form. Okay, and then you confirm with usually the table topic question, contest chair prepares or your CJ will prepare. Okay, if I remember correctly, based on my understanding, CJ will prepare the table topic question and CJ will pick to ensure fairness. Okay, prepare all the certificate for the contest. So these are the items that you need to prepare: the certificate for role takers, for participation, certificate of winners, and then your area contest trophies. So these are the things you need to take note of. So if you need to laminate or print, write using permanent marker, all these things, get them ready, get your logistics ready. It's very important. Okay, and then forward the program sheet. So on the contest day itself, okay, so on that contest day itself, you arrive to prepare the contestants will arrive to prepare so that you can prepare the necessary verification purposes. And then you prepare the clipboard and then you pass it to the chief judge. So you know who my chief judge was, and then you pass the eligibility form to the CJ. Okay, and you ensure that the contestants have written the club number and the member number. Make sure they sign. There are forms that are collected and it was not signed. If it's not signed, you go back to the contestant and say, bro, you got to sign, bro. Okay, and brief all the role takers where to sit. Okay, why I say that? Okay, I will show you later the floor plan where the contestants sit, because it really ensures the smoothness and the efficiency of the contest. Okay, and brief all the contestants, get the contestant to fill up the forms and pass it to the contest Toastmaster. And then prepare the names and ballot box. For me, I did the ballot box. So they need to ballot out their own numbers so that we will know what speaking position they are in. Okay, of course, you need to set up. This is where your SAA will help set up the certificate table, the prize table, the refreshment table. set up the online projector. Okay, so these are for online, and these were logistics because there were food prepared. So for those who attended the area contest would remember who are the food that was prepared during that period of time. Of course, during that day, I'm not sure whether there were extra tables. So I had foldable tables. I actually brought my own foldable tables just in case for my own personal logistics. So I brought the tablecloth, the trash bag, the tissues, the napkins, the food, the drinks, the trolley, paper cup, paper plate, everything all in there. Stationery, red, blue, black pens, markers are all ready. White paper just in case. Evaluation notes, all these things. And then stopwatch and of course the online setup. And all the forms and certificates that have been printed, and I did some deco for the contest. So this is just the additional part on my end, but you don't have to do it, okay? So I have printed 20 sets of program sheet for that period of time, and I have confirmed the title of the speech for the test speaker, and then I run through the program with the contest Toastmaster. So these were the things that I did as a contest chair. Now, I have revised this form based on the new based on the contest rulebook. What are the forms? So I've checked and I've updated. The one highlighted in green. Okay, the one highlighted in green, the humorous speech and the tall tales. I just indicate that if your club is doing it, sure, you can indicate how many copies you need, depending on the voting judge and the tiebreaker judge, the number of judges that are there. Then usually after I have printed, I will just put a tick because I want to make sure that I have everything ready, and I will compile them all together. So this is a personal checklist on my end in preparation for all the different forms that I require for contest purposes. This excludes certificates. This excludes certificates of participation, certificates of role takers, and certificate for first, second, and third. Okay, this excludes all that. This is just the necessary forms required to ensure the contest runs smoothly. Now, again, like I said, I had a floor plan. Why? Because I needed to brief my SAA, right? So this was one of the plans that we took note. Notice how I put the IS contestants here. Okay, I put the IS contestants here simply because if the speaker the contest Toastmaster call out the contestant's name, it will be easier for them to transit. Imagine that there's so many chairs and then the contestants have to weave through left and right just to go to the staging area. That itself can take a lot of time. Okay, it may be 30 seconds for one contestant. If you have 8 contestants, 30 seconds times 3 times 8 will be 4 minutes. And then if you have 3 contests, there's an exceeding time of another 12 minutes. So you will have to really calculate to a T how you want the contestant by placing the contestants nearer to the stage area. It is really, really helpful. And the position of the timer must be perpendicular. Okay, this is math now. Perpendicular to the stage area. Why? Because contestant needs to see how much time they have left. If they do not have, there will be some cases where you put your timer here. Now, issue is if the contestant do not see it, that's it, and they overrun their speech, then they will be disqualified. We want to avoid that, okay? For my area contest was very nice. I had 4 contestants. But because 3 ran out of time, so the champion was the one who didn't run out of time. So that was a very eventful area contest for me. Okay, SAA will be placed here, okay, where the entrance is. So you need to really inform your SAA that no one goes in and out of the venue. No one goes in and out of the venue when the contestants are speaking. Okay, no one goes in and out of the venue when the contestant is speaking. Okay. Now, this is another floor plan that I prepared for my own personal planning. Okay, where I actually put the contestants this way. So the ones who have not spoken will be seated here. And there will be blank chairs here. So once they finish speaking, they will be seated here. So it is an easier transition. Okay. Now, what if you are an evaluator? Okay, you are doing evaluation speech or table topics. So you will enter to the stage area. Once you are done, you will sit at the contestant chair. Okay, where you don't move around. Why? This also minimize the fact that you might actually sit beside a judge. So if you control if you are able to let the contestants sit at a specific designated place, the lesser chances of them seated beside a judge. It's unfortunate we cannot, like, you will know that the judges are there because you will see them deliberating. But at the same time, in order to ensure a just and a fair and a smooth efficiency of contest, I usually let the contestants sit right in front where the staging area, nearest to the staging area, to help me and to ensure that the contest runs smoothly. And of course, there's refreshment at the back. If we have this many contestants, if you have this many guests, what I will do is I will prepare another refreshment table here. So there will be 2 sets because the time for a break might not be as long as we anticipated. Okay, so this is an example of how a program sheet looks like. I think if you have been a VPE or club president, you definitely will know how a program sheet look like. So if you need a template of it, do talk to me. I can share with you a template and you can use. So what we do is each contestant, if you're doing an IS speech, you allocate 10 minutes per contestant. For IS speech, we allocate 10 minutes per contestant. Okay. And for evaluation, we will allocate 5 minutes per contestant. And then why the change is that why I put that 35 minutes, because technically, tentatively, there was supposed to be 7 contestants, but 3 drop out at the last minute during the area contest. So again, a table topic contest, you will require 5 minutes per contestant. Okay, so this is an example of how you plan your program sheet. So you start off with a contest briefing. You can start off with your area speech contest, the opening address, the general rules of orientation from the contest Toastmaster himself, and then let the contest begin. All right. Okay, so this is an example how a contest chair should somehow plan. I'm not saying that it must be, you must follow it to a T. I'm just saying that this is an example of how you can plan an area contest, or in fact a division contest, based on this structure or skeleton. Okay, for contest Toastmaster, okay, if you are a first-time contest Toastmaster, or if you have you want to become a contest Toastmaster, there are a lot of area directors here, a lot of division directors here. Just say, I want to become contest Toastmaster, please. One of the division directors or area directors will definitely reach out to you. So again, you have introduction, but you need to include, or you need to indicate the housekeeping rules. Okay, so these are the housekeeping rules. So this was my Toastmaster script during the Division E contest. Okay, so I was the contest Toastmaster for the Division E to support the division itself. And we have indicated, so this is as formal as it gets. And what I will do is I will inform them that we will have how many contestants per segment. And then I will also introduce who are the appointment holders first. So this is just the beginning of my script for a contest as a contest Toastmaster. Okay, so again, so now we will invite the contest chair, and you as a contest Toastmaster, please do share the contest ground rules to the audience, to the contestants, even though the contestants have been briefed. Okay, you should still talk about the contest ground rules. So to ensure that the rules have already been shared completely to the masses. Okay, also share about your timing sequence. Okay, indicate that at which juncture will the light turn green, or a green card will be flashed, a yellow card will be flashed, and a red card will be flashed. Okay, and there will not be a buzzer to indicate for an overtime. All right. And of course, okay, this is very important. Please do tell them this portion, because if you're going to go up to the division or the district level, you need to start off with the contestant's name, title, clap. Title, contestant's name, silence. Because if you continue clapping, you might just throw the contestants off during their speech. So name of contestant, title, clap, then title, name of contestants, silence, and then the floor belongs to the contestant. Okay, so this is how you prepare. And then during our balloting, we already have the name. So you have XYZ, Gratitude, this one. These are all the different contestants' names and so on and so forth. So the names are already there. Okay, so if you as a contest chair, giving the names of the contestants early would really help the contest Toastmaster prepare. It's not just for him, it's also to ensure that the contest runs smoothly. Okay, and so on and so forth. So this is how a contest evaluation speech the script is being written. Okay. So yeah, so this is how we announcement of contest winners, presentation of certificate and token of appreciation. These are all part of the contest Toastmasters script in preparation, and then you have the closing address. So this is just a skeleton of how the contest Toastmasters script should look like. There is no hard and fast rule that you need to follow what I have here. But if you do need a template, or you need some support when you are doing or handling your role as a contest Toastmaster, okay, it would really help. So based on planning the contest, you would already, as a contest chair, you would need your contest chair checklist. What are the different form, program sheet, the contest Toastmaster script, the floor plan, of course, the refreshments and the logistics, and the tokens of appreciation. So during that contest, when we did it, there were tokens of appreciation. Some gave books, some gave chocolates as form of token of appreciation on top of their certificates. Okay. Before I end, let me share with you the different certificates that you can use for contest sharing. Okay. For the different contests. Okay. Okay, so this is an example of all. Okay, where do I get all these certificates, if you ask me? Okay, you can get all these certificates, okay, or at the TI portal. So you have the first place, you have the third place, you also have the participant speech contest, which looks like this, certificate of participation for those who attended or who attempted the contest. So this is an example. You can actually get all these documents or all these certificates to make it easier for you to prepare for your contest. Okay, and with that, I end my contest sharing. I really wish you all the best and good luck in preparing for your contest. If your contest is next week, I'm sorry I cannot help you in planning the contest. But if you have your contest is in like 3 to 4 months time, and you are in the midst of planning and you still have not gotten a chief judge or a contest Toastmaster, please find your chief judge and contest Toastmaster now. Even if you are 4 months away, do not wait until the last minute. Club contest, area contest, or division contest, regardless of whatever contest you are planning for, if it is just like in March or in February or in March, you still need to find your role takers, especially your chief judge and your contest Toastmaster now. You should already have them. Then they can really prepare the pool of judges, because finding judges during the contest season is really, really hard. And I really do hope that this will help you and spur you to plan a very smooth and efficient contest. If you need examples of a floor plan, yes, please do talk to me. I will be able to support, and I will be able to share with you the different documents that I do have. With that, back to you, Contest Toastmaster. Contest Toastmaster. Toastmaster of the day. See, I'm in the Toastmaster era.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Zura Arifin. She was in contest mode. I think she misses taking part in contests. And thank you so much for sharing us some of the best practices that we can adopt as contest chair. Now we have come to the last part of today's training, which is the Q&A sessions. I already have a lot of questions here at the chat, so I will be sharing some of it, but I will pick and rephrase some of them. So the first one, how to maintain confidentiality of judges when it's very obvious that person carrying the clipboard would be the judge. Maybe Chakim or Anand, what are your inputs on this?
Okay, let me share my view. I think for the judges to be anonymous, again, it is for the purpose of being fair. Okay, if the judges are known in advance, then the contestants might threaten them, bribe them, or whatever to gain an advantage. Okay. Also, during the contest, now, if you want to contest the judges to be anonymous, because if for some reason some contestants did not win, they're not happy about that. So, for the personal safety of the judges, it's better that contestants don't know who they are. But I think this is really I think this is the reason behind that. But these things rarely happen. That means contestants even if they didn't win, I don't think they're really going to take revenge on anyone. So, but I think the reason for that is really for this purpose.
Thank you very much, Chakim. I think in relation to that question, perhaps, if a member contests at a club level and didn't come in first or second place, can the member then contest in another area level contest of a different area from a different club?
Yes. You
Okay.
can only take part in one area contest, but you can take part in multiple club contests.
Thank you very much, Chakim. Next question, does a contestant, or maybe I shall rephrase this question. The question is, does contestant at area level have to be winner at club level? So maybe I will rephrase this question. Is it necessary or is it compulsory for clubs to conduct club contests so that they can then, let this winner go on to the next stage and represent the club at the area level? Is it necessary for club to conduct club contests then?
You want to answer or shall I answer?
I can take that. I can take that. It is not compulsory. As long as if you want to nominate someone to move up to the area level, you can go ahead and nominate. Because I understand some clubs, or rather, not many members want to participate. So if you want to nominate, just nominate them up to the next level. Okay. But if you have already had a club contest and the number one doesn't want to turn up, number two doesn't want to turn up, number three wants to go, yes. But only those who participated in the contest can move up to the area level.
Yeah, I hope that answered that question. So it's not compulsory, yeah, to do a club contest to find your representative or to have a representative to the next level. The next question is quite a lengthy question, but it's very interesting, I think. Is there a conflict of interest when a losing contestant at a club, area, or division level contest goes on to be a contest judge at the next level, which the losing contestant could have been contesting? So conflict could arise when the losing contestant, now a contest judge, can bear a grudge against the the contestant that they are judging. Would that be a conflict of interest?
Well, I think that is a conflict of interest, not only in this sense. Okay, so there are also occasions that there are certain contestants who always lose to another contestant, and then when the first contestant become a judge, they may judge in a biased way against that contestant. So as far as possible, as a chief judge, we need to avoid such conflict of interest.
Thank you very much, Joaquim. So there is a possibility of conflict of interest. Now, some of you have been asked Anand to repeat what he mentioned just now about the club contest. I think because, yeah.
Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. So in the club contest, if a club runs a contest and you got a first, second, third place winner, but for some reason when the area contest comes and these three cannot participate. Now the club has already had a contest, and if none of them can participate, you can't simply just pick another person to go up on, because the club already has a contest. So that's why we always strongly encourage everyone, as many people as possible, to participate. At least then someone then moves up to the area level. Okay, I hope that is clear.
I hope everybody could hear that again. I'll just repeat. So what Anand mentioned is if the club has conducted a club contest and then there were winners in the third, second, and first place, but all these three then for some reason could not participate in the area level, then therefore that club will not be represented because the club has already conducted a contest. They cannot pick a random representative. Yeah. Okay. Could the member of a judge at a club or area contest participate in his or her own club contest? Could the member judge at club area contest participate in his or her own club contest? This is the next question.
Okay, let me answer that. Now there is a change in contest rules for this year. In previous year, you can be a judge at the club level contest, and you can still, of other clubs, and you can still be a contestant. But this year, the contest rule has changed. That means as long as you have been a judge at any level in any district for the type of contest that you are going to take part, then you are disqualified. In other words, if you still want to be a contestant, don't be a judge for that type of contest. Even if you are not placed in the top three, say for a club contest, even if you're not placed in the top three, and then you become a judge, say for area contest, but your club contest, the top three contestants might not be able to make it, and you could be the fourth one. So once you become a judge, you're disqualified from contesting. So if you still want to be a contestant, don't be a judge. If you want to be a judge, if you become a judge, that means you forgo all future opportunities to become a contestant for that term, for that type of contest.
Thank you, Joaquim. So it's very important. If you want to contest, do not volunteer or do not agree to become a judge. Now, what about an extension to that question, Joaquim? What if somebody becomes another role holder, for example, becomes a telecounter at a contest, at an international speech contest, for example, he becomes a telecounter. Can these persons still take part in an international speech contest at
Yes.
can?
Yes, there's no conflict of interest. Yeah, but a judge can, be biased so that the best contestant will not go out. If the judge is contesting, okay, but telecounters, there's no conflict of interest. So as a chief judge, okay, if you appoint judges, not everyone knows these rules. Not everyone reads the contest rule book. So I suggest you check with the person. Are you contesting? If you are contesting, then appoint the person as a judge.
Right.
I came across a case whereby I think it's an aerial contest, one of the contestants was disqualified because he judged.
Right.
He judged at another contest. So I was wondering, how do people know? It turns out that the person who points out that he judged at another contest is the chief judge of that contest. I think that's very ugly.
Mm.
You invite a person as a judge, and after that, when in his contest, you point out that, hey, you're disqualified.
Right. Thank you so much, Joachim. Another question. Is the speaker, or rather the contestant, if I rephrase it, bound by the decision of the chief judge? Or can the speaker challenge the decision of the chief judge? Anand, maybe? Or Joachim?
In the first place, okay, the chief judge does not judge. Okay, it's not the decision of the chief judge. These judges, tally with the tally counters, work out who are the winners. So the chief judge doesn't judge. Okay, the judges' decisions are final, so you cannot challenge. You can only protest for 3 things: originality, eligibility, and reference to other contestants or their speech.
Right. So I think that answers that question. Anna, is there anything that you want to add to that, those points?
It's the
Right.
panel of judges. You have to find everyone. The CJ just make sure everything works out fine, works out well. But it's up to the judges.
Right.
Don't blame the CJ, please. Okay.
Right. So important for all of us to take note. If we become contestants, the result is final. We cannot protest. If we want to protest, it's just on eligibility, reference to another person's speech, originality, and that must be raised before the contest is adjourned. This question comes from Grace Wong. Some judges will ask 2 timers to record the contestant timing and compare their record. What happens if the 2 timers record is different? But is this really necessary? Anand, maybe? Is it really necessary for 2 timers to record 2 timers? Because I've also heard where some chief judges will ask the 2 timers to have their own record and then average the timing out. Is that necessary?
Okay, in the contest book, they just say just one person to do the timing, and the other person is to ensure that the timing is going on. Okay, because sometimes you tend to forget, but just to make sure that the other person is doing the timing well. So most of the time it's just only one.
Just only one, yeah. So what happens in addition to that question? What happens if the 2 timer record is different then? But it's actually just one is just enough, so it's not necessary to have another timer to so-called balance their timing.
Yes.
Right. I have a question for Zuria, because she's been keeping very quiet. All the questions have been asked to Anand and Joachim. This question is from me. Zuria, do you think it's good practice to appoint an extra test speaker? What's your call on this? Input on this?
Okay. I've always believed in preparing
Sorry, I didn't get
for
that.
the worst case scenario. I've always believed in that because like the Murphy's Law, if anything bad that can happen will happen if you let it happen. So I just put that if you let it happen, can add on. But I really think that it's best to have a spare test speaker because, and then you need to confirm that the test speaker can make it 2 days before the actual event. That's what I would do. But then I will inform my spare test speaker, okay, I think the test speaker will be coming. Thank you for holding the date for me. So that I will definitely have 2 test speakers. In case one of my test speakers falls sick, then I do not have a last minute test speaker. Yeah. But do take note, there was an event that I attended that the CJ actually found the test speaker. Cannot, okay? Try to have the contest chair find your test speaker. You as a contest chair, you need to find the test speaker, not your CJ. CJ already having to find 2 telecounters, 2 timers, and then like 7 more judges. So that's like about 10 to 11 people. So you're asking for another one. We have to be fair to the chief judge also. That's why chief judge always be the one that has the most white hair because they'll be the one planning and trying to find as many people as possible. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. Okay, the time now is 9:56. Maybe I'll just ask one last final question. Okay, now the contest chair, correct me if I'm wrong, Anan, Shakim, Zuria, the contest chair will determine the topic of the table topic contest, the question. Yes?
No, chief
Yes.
judge.
Chief judge or who prepares the questions, the contest chair or the chief judge?
Best to be chief judge. I mean, if you, let's say I'm the area contest, I am the contest chair for an area and my club is inside that area, definitely. So if I prepare the contest, the table topics, then there will definitely be a conflict of interest, right? That means if I already preempted, there could be this possibility that I might preempt my contestant, even though I'm trying to be as fair as possible. So it will not be fair. So what I will do is I will get the chief judge to prepare the contest, the table topics, and the chief judge will pick one of the 3 table topics in all fairness to keep the contest as fair as possible.
Right. Okay. Any inputs, Anan, Shakim?
Well, according to the rule book, the contest chair sets the topic. Okay, so in many contests, just to show that it's fair, the contest chair may set a few topics and let the chief judge pick one. But according to the rule book, is the contest chair sets the topic.
Right.
That's
Thank
what
you
I
very much.
also- That's what I also got it from the rule book. So normally when I'm at CJ, I will do ask my contest chair. So the important point here is check who is going to prepare. Okay, don't on that day, hey, did you prepare or did you prepare? Nobody prepares. Okay, we don't want to have that. Check.
Correct.
And
So at the end of the day, most important, the chief judge and the contest chair must communicate clearly to each other. Right, so they don't have anything missed up. Right. 2 more minutes left. Thank you very much for everyone for your patience and your keenness and your burning questions. Shakim, is there something that you want to add?
Yeah, can I make a comment?
Yes.
Now, for the contest, as I mentioned many times, we want to be fair. The problem that I notice is that well, many people say practice makes what? Anyone want to say complete this? Practice makes
better.
Practice does not make perfect, does not make better. Okay. Practice only make what you are doing permanent.
Right.
So there are people who have been judging for 20 years. That chief judge have been performing chief judge roles regularly for 20 years. That won't make them better. That won't make them a better judge or a better chief judge because they don't get feedback. Okay, if you want to be, so if they don't get feedback, they make some mistakes, that mistake become permanent. And the purpose of this workshop is really to clear up some of these things. But unfortunately, They don't come because they thought they have very experienced judges or chief judge. They don't come. So they continue to make such mistakes. So I suggest that chief judge, if you are performing a chief judge role, make sure after the contest, take a look at the judges' ballots. If some judges are completely out of line, then you may want to consider whether to invite them again. Because I have seen clear biases in a human speech contest, district level. There's one contestant, his speech didn't make anyone laugh. All judges didn't place him among the top 3, but one of the judges put him first. So this is a clear bias. Okay. So the chief judge, you need to take a look at how the judges judge. Now for the chief judge, many of them set their own rules, which are wrong. So as an appointment holder, if you find that the chief judge is not following the rules, you got to point it out. Okay? Because if nobody checks on the chief judge will continue making all those mistakes that they have been making. So it is all our duty to make sure that the contest is fair. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Chakim. A very important message. All of us in the contest, all of us playing a role in the contest, have a part to ensure that the contest is done in a fair and just manner. Thank you again, once again, thank you everybody for your keenness and your burning questions and your patience to wait till up to this 10 p.m. We'd like to say thank you again to our trainers for today. First, we had Distinguished Toastmaster Anand. We had Distinguished Toastmaster Earn Chakim to talk about the Chief Judge duties, and then to explain about how to become fair contest judges, we have Distinguished Toastmaster Anand. And we wrapped up with how to run a contest, becoming a contest chair, with some very insightful pointers from Division E Director Zuria Arifin. I would now like to invite Distinguished Toastmaster Nur Hakim, our District Director, to give us the closing address.
Yes, sorry. Call for me.
Closing address, sir.
Too much and so much has been said this evening. I was trying to digest and listen at the same time. I think the speakers today are really very experienced, well-versed, and they have also done in-depth reading of the rule book. And I think if you forget everything, remember the first rule which our PDD Chakim mentioned. Go back and read the rule book before you assume any contest rules, or even as a contestant. I think that's very important. And it reminds me of a famous advice which says that good leaders are people who read. So reading the rule book should be part and parcel of being good Toastmasters. So I'm definitely going to go back to read the rule book once again, and maybe a couple more times, just to ensure that I can also give good advice in case people consult me. And I've really learned a couple of things from today's workshop as well. So hopefully that's the same for everyone, and we see an increase in the level of contest here at District 80. Thank you very much to all the organizers and our speakers for doing this for all of us. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Didi, Distinguished Toastmaster Nur Hakim. Once again, thank you on behalf of the organizing team, the PQD team, as well as Division E team. Thank you to all for attending today's training session. We hope it has been very fruitful to everyone. I myself definitely have learned many new things today and corrected some of my misunderstandings about contest itself. So without further ado, I will just wish everybody a very good restful evening, and hope to see you again in another training session. Thank you everyone, and have a restful night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Yay. I heave a sigh of relief now.
Okay, let me stop the recording.
Oh yeah, I start recording.